So every single time tensions flare up in the Middle East, there's one tiny strip of water that suddenly dominates all the headlines, the Strait of Hormuz. You've got to understand, this is the planet's single most important energy artery. And for decades, this huge question has just been hanging in the air. What if we could, just bypass it? Today, we're going to dive into that grand, almost mythical idea of carving a whole new path for the world's oil. It really does seem like a simple solution on the surface, doesn't it? I mean, if this one choke point is so incredibly risky, why not just engineer our way around the problem? Well, as we're about to find out, the reasons it's never happened are just as massive as the project itself. Okay, so first things first, we need to get a handle on the sheer scale of what's at stake here. The Strait of Hormuz. It isn't just some important waterway. It is arguably the most critical choke point for the entire global economy, period. A choke point is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a narrow funnel that forces a ton of traffic into one tiny, concentrated area. And Hormuz, at its narrowest point, is only about 33 kilometers wide. That's it. So any disruption here, even a small one, sends immediate shockwaves all across the globe. The numbers they're staggering. Every single day, thousands of vessels are creating this constant flow, like a traffic jam on water, through this one little passage. We're talking millions upon millions of barrels of oil and a gigantic volume of liquefied natural gas. For a country like Qatar, which is one of the top LNG exporters in the world, nearly all of its exports depend on this one strait. It's a true energy superhighway. So, with so much riding on one little choke point, it's really no surprise that strategists have been dreaming of an alternative for a long, long time. And that brings us to the canal concept, an idea that is just as ambitious as it is, audacious. And listen, this isn't some new idea that just popped up. It actually first surfaced way back in the 1970s, right in the middle of the oil crisis. The goal was simple enough: just reduce the world's vulnerability by creating a second way out. And the vision? Oh, it was huge. Just carve a massive canal straight across the Arabian Peninsula, opening a brand new path to the Arabian Sea. Okay, so a vision is one thing, but reality? That's something else entirely. As it turns out, there are 3 absolutely colossal obstacles that have kept this dream firmly stuck on the drawing board. And let me tell you, each one of these challenges is a total showstopper on its own. We're talking about brutal, unforgiving geography, a price tag that is just mind-boggling, and the incredibly tangled web of politics in the region. So first up is the raw physical challenge. The sheer scale of what's being proposed here is hard to even wrap your head around it. We're not just digging a big ditch here, we are literally talking about reshaping a continent. This is where the scale really just slaps you in the face. Think about the world-famous Suez Canal. That's just under 200 kilometers long. The Panama Canal? About 80. This proposed Hormuz bypass would be nearly 1,000 kilometers long. That's 5 times longer than the Suez and more than 10 times the length of the Panama Canal. It's just immense. And that 1,000 kilometers isn't some nice, flat, easy terrain. No way. It means blasting through huge deserts, solid rock plateaus, and even entire mountain ranges like the Hajar Mountains, which soar over 3,000 meters into the sky. And then you've got to add in the blistering summer heat that can hit 50 degrees Celsius, and a severe lack of the very thing you need for a project like this, fresh water. It's a complete engineering nightmare. But let's just pretend for a second. Let's say you somehow had the technology to conquer the geography. You'd immediately slam into the second giant obstacle, the money. And the price tag we're talking about here is almost beyond belief. All right, so let's set a baseline just to get some perspective. The recent project to expand the existing Suez Canal cost about $8.5 billion. Now, that's a huge number, for sure. But remember, that was just to make an existing, relatively short waterway bigger. Now look at this leap. The most conservative estimates for a new Hormuz bypass start at $500 billion, and some projections go all the way up to $1 trillion. To put that into perspective, $500 billion is roughly the entire annual GDP of a country like Vietnam. And that's just to build it, not even counting the ridiculous annual costs for maintenance and security. Okay, so let's keep playing this game. Let's say you solved the geography, and you found $1 trillion lying around. You'd still run headfirst into a brick wall. Politics. A canal this long would have to cross multiple international borders, and that would require a level of cooperation that is, it's almost impossible to imagine in that region. It would be a true geopolitical nightmare. So, if the canal is just a complete pipe dream, what's the real-world solution? Well, it turns out the countries in the region have already figured out a much more pragmatic, if, less dramatic answer: pipelines. When you actually compare the two side by side, the choice becomes, well, it's a no-brainer. Sure, a mega canal could handle every type of ship, but it's astronomically expensive and basically impossible to build. A pipeline, on the other hand, is limited to just oil or gas, but it's vastly cheaper, way faster to build, and, most importantly, it's a proven working reality. And they're not just theories, they exist right now. Saudi Arabia has a 1,200-kilometer pipeline that lets it ship up to 5 million barrels of oil a day directly to the Red Sea. The UAE has its own pipeline to the port of Fujairah, completely bypassing Hormuz for about 1.5 million barrels a day. These are the real-world bypasses. But, and this right here is the critical takeaway, these pipelines are not a replacement, not even close. There are workarounds, sure, maybe an insurance policy, but they absolutely do not change the fundamental geographic reality of the region. Because even with these impressive pipelines, their total capacity is just a tiny fraction of what actually flows through the Strait of Hormuz every day. They can't handle the huge LNG carriers, they can't handle the massive container ships, and they can't handle the sheer volume of oil. So at the end of the day, the world's deep dependency on that narrow strait remains firmly in place. So when you boil it all down, it really does come back to those three giant obstacles. Geography, cost, and politics have formed this nearly impenetrable barrier, making the strait's role, for now at least, completely and utterly irreplaceable. But here's one final thought to leave you with. We are living in an era of absolutely mind-blowing giga projects in the Middle East, right? We're seeing nations willing to spend hundreds and hundreds of billions on futuristic cities and unbelievable infrastructure. So in a future like that, could an idea that was once considered impossible, maybe, just maybe, become an inevitable next step? Well, that's a question that remains to be seen.